So, for the purpose of encouraging foreign direct investment and attracting individuals to settle and do business in Cyprus, the Council of Ministers in February 2019 revised the Cyprus investment program and established the new criteria. And since August 2018, the applications can only be submitted by the service providers that are included in the relevant registry. So not anybody can submit applications and provide this service to the foreigners. The investment can be done either personally or through a company or companies, or through investment done by the spouse of the investor, jointly with the spouse, or as a high-ranking senior manager of a company. The investor may apply for the acquisition of the Cyprus investment program, provided that the financial criterion A1 is fulfilled, and one of the rest financial criteria are fulfilled as well. So let's see each of the criteria separately. A1 is the donation to the Research and Innovation Foundation and the Cyprus Land Development Corporation. This is a new economic criterion, and it is the obligation of the investor to donate the amount of 150,000 euro upon the approval of his application. And the donation are as follows: it's 75,000 euro as a donation to the Research and Innovation Foundation. However, this obligation is lifted if the applicant invests 75,000 in a certified innovative enterprise or a certified social enterprise. Also, this obligation is lifted if the applicant has made an investment under criterion A3, we'll see it later, of a total amount equal to 20% of the required investment amount of the criterion A3 in a company whose operations fall within the primary and secondary sectors of the economy or in any other approved sectors. These are approved by the Ministry of Finance in Cyprus. The other 75,000 is a donation to the Cyprus Land Development and Corporation for the financing of housing schemes for affordable housing. Then we have the other options the investor will need to choose to make the investment before the submission of the application in order to be naturalized. So A2 is the investment in real estate, land development and infrastructure projects. Under this criterion, the applicant has the options to invest 2 million in the purchase, construction, or even creation of developments, for example, commercial projects in the tourist sector or in any other infrastructure projects. Also, the option to invest in land is available under this, but there should be a business plan. And of course, the land will be with built-in density. Also, it is important to mention that if the investment includes housing units, then the total investment can be 2 million, provided that one of the residential properties is at least 500,000 euro, not including the VAT, and therefore the investor will not need to purchase the residential property of minimum 500,000 as an extra residential property. However, if the applicant has invested in housing units that have already been used in the Cypriot citizenship via the Cyprus investment program, then the total investment, including the privately owned residence, is increased to 2.5 million. Under this criterion, the Ministry of Interior and the Ministry of Finance may request evaluation report just to ensure that the properties are sold to the market values. A3 is purchase or establishment or participation in Cypriot companies or businesses. Under this criterion, the investment amount shall be at least 2 million plus the lifetime residential property, which shall be, of course, 500,000 euro. The company to invest should have business activities in Cyprus, and the investment funds shall be channeled towards the financing investment objectives of the said company in Cyprus based on a specific plan. So it shall be proved to the Ministry of Finance that the funds are transferred for a specific purpose and not just an investment in the share capital of the company. Also, the company or the organization shall have physical presence in Cyprus. So they need to prove that they have at least 5 Cypriot or EU employees, and this shall be proved by registration to the Social Insurance Authority and the provision of their employment agreements and the terms of employment. Of course, the number of employees will be increased where more than one applicant invests in the same company or organization. A4, under this criterion, the applicant should have bought units of at least 2 million from alternative investment funds or registered alternative investment funds established in the Republic of Cyprus, licensed and supervised by the Cyprus Securities and Exchange Commission, and whose the investments are made in Cyprus. And the area of the investments should fulfill any of the criteria of the scheme. It is also permitted for these funds to invest in secondary market stock market values of the Cyprus Stock Exchange for maximum amount 200,000 euro. Under this criterion and for the purpose of ensuring that these investments will be retained for the required period, it is obligatory for the administrator of the fund to report to the Ministry of Finance every year based on the initial investment amount. Also, the investor has the option to purchase financial assets of Cypriot companies or organizations, which of course have their business activities and presence in Cyprus. The investment should be 2 million, and it should be in bonds, bills, and securities issued by the approval and approved by the CISEC and have as the purpose of financing the investment plans of the company. The last financial criterion actually is the ability of the investor to make a combination of the financial criteria, but under this A5 criteria, the investor should make an investment 2 million plus the purchase of the 500,000 residential property. So as we said, under all the economic criteria, the investor should have a lifetime residential property of minimum value 500,000 euro. However, this property can be changed provided that the prior approval of the ministry is obtained. If the value of the residential property is more, then the additional amount of the residential property can be top up, so it will sum up the total amount of the investment. It is also provided by the regulations that the family, members of the same family, who apply separately as investors, can collectively acquire residential property and use this and keep it for a lifetime, provided that the amount of the residential property will be 1 million. And more for each applicant. Some of the main terms and conditions for the submission of the application under the Cyprus Investment Program are the following. The applicant should have made the necessary investments during 3 years before the application, and they are obliged to keep the investment for 5 years from the date of approval of their application, which is the date of their naturalization. In case that the investment involves properties under construction, then the application can only be submitted if the town planning permit is issued for this specific property or the project, if it is concerns a project. The most important in terms of the financial is that the funds shall be transferred from abroad and cannot be money from business activities in Cyprus, and not even by a loan obtained in Cyprus as well. Also, when a high-ranking senior manager applies, the remuneration received shall generate for Cyprus tax revenues at least 100,000 euro over a year of over a 3-year period. This amount of tax should have been paid or prepaid. Also, when an applicant has been rejected by any other EU member country to obtain the citizenship, then these applicants are not eligible even to submit the application under the Cyprus Investment Program. And in order for the adult family members and the investor to submit the application, they need to have a valid Schengen visa. It is really important for the applicant and all the adult family members to prove that their criminal record is clean by providing the relevant certificate from both their country of origin and their country of residence in case it is different. And this shall not be older than 3 months. Additionally, the applicant must not be included in the list of the persons whose assets within the boundaries of the European Union have been frozen as a result of sanctions. Also, a due diligence report which is issued by the service provided by the service providers shall be submitted, and this shall not be older than 30 days from the date of its issuance. The investor and any adult family members prior to their naturalizations must have been holding a residence permit in Cyprus for at least 6 months. If, however, and in most of the cases, the applicants do not hold a residence permit, they may apply for the permanent residency permit under the Regulation 6.2 of the Aliens and Immigration Law, simultaneously with the citizenship application, and this is a very fast procedure, and they obtain the residency within 2 weeks. In case the application of the naturalization is rejected, then this permanent residency permit is automatically cancelled, since it was obtained for this purpose. The decisions of the Council of Ministers provides for the grant of the Cyprus citizenship to the spouse or partner of the investor, the adult children of the investor, the parents of the investor, and the minor children fall under the civil registry law, and they can obtain the Cyprus citizenship under a different procedure and under a different scheme. So the spouse or the partner of the investor has the option to apply simultaneously with the investor, so they will get naturalized together. And in regards to the partner, under the civil partnership, Cyprus recognizes any civil partnership that had been concluded in Cyprus or in any other state in accordance with the legislation of that state. Also, the minor children, as I said, they can obtain the Cyprus citizenship upon the naturalization of the investor, and this can be done by virtue of the of section 110 of the relevant legislation. And the procedure is very fast, and it includes minor children under the age of 18. Adult children refers to the students up to the age of 18 that are attending an institution of higher education aiming to obtain a diploma or undergraduate or even a master's degree. They are excluded the professional qualifications such as the chartered accountants, the barristers, and they do not fall under this category, and they are not eligible to apply, even if they are financially dependent on the investor. Children with severe physical and mental disability are included in this category without any limitation to the age, and their applications can only be submitted after the investor is naturalized. The investor's parents could also obtain the Cyprus citizenship by purchasing a further 500,000 residential property. In the event that they wish, they can have the same residential property, and this should be minimum 1 million euros. And they can only be naturalized after the investor obtains the Cyprus passport. A holder of the Cyprus citizenship has many advantages, including but not limited to the freedom of movement, to the movement of goods and services between the EU countries, to travel, to study, to work in any other European country. And also, the citizenship is granted not only to the applicant, but also to the family members we mentioned before, and can be passed on to the future generations. Our law firm, as we said, is leader in the market. We are in the first 5 service providers under the Cyprus Investment Program, and we believe in building solid relationships with our clients and associates. And we support the ideas of each investor by a commercial perspective to find the solutions which suit the personal circumstances, of course, and the financial circumstances of each investor. So this is an analysis of the Cyprus Investment Program, the main regulations, the criteria that a foreigner can obtain the Cyprus citizenship. So I am ready to receive any questions.
Yes, thank you, Maria. This was a very informative presentation, very specific responses to all possible doubts about the Cyprus program. Now, let me ask you a few questions which come from the audience. One is basically phrased a little differently, but perhaps still requires your attention. One participant is asking as follows: they're planning to have Cyprus citizenship, but they're asking what is the best way, more or less, between real estate investment and valuable papers. I think shares they mean. How would you answer that?
Sorry, I'm really sorry. Can you repeat the question, because I was trying to stop sharing my screen?
Okay, of course.
Sorry.
One participant is asking as follows: they're planning to have Cyprus citizenship, but they're wondering what is the best way to choose between investing in real estate and how they call it valuable papers. I think they mean some form of shareholding.
The most common investment in Cyprus is the real estate, because in the last year we were developed in the luxury buildings, and they have many options. Also in the commercial properties and residential properties, and we really recommend the investment in the residential properties, because also it decreases the total amount of the investment, and also the procedures we follow to secure and ensure that the buyers are secured under the purchase of new properties which are under construction is very good, because we have a very good procedures under the land registry office. So we submit the sale agreements and the land office, and the purchasers become the beneficial owners of the property, and the procedure of issuing the title deeds or the registration, it's really good in Cyprus at the moment. And of course, to save 500,000 for an investor, it's a good opportunity, instead of investing into any other financial criteria and then have to purchase the residential property.
Okay, wonderful. And here is a very practical question. What attractive projects are there in Cyprus?
I suppose, yes, residential. We have also residential projects. Now, in the last few months, in the last year, we have the hotels. Many investors invest in hotels in Cyprus. There are good opportunities, and also in offices, because we are having the casino, a new casino. It will be a good one, and one area will be full of offices, and it will be full developed. So we have many options: houses, apartments, offices, commercial properties. In tourism sector, the hotels, we have many options. And because the economy in Cyprus is related to the tourists, renting the properties out even short term, it's a very profitable business.
All right. Here is another question. What is the difference between the Cyprus citizenship program and Malta citizenship program? Which is better and why?
Okay, in regards to this, I will have to revert. I need to review the Malta scheme, and I will revert back to this.
Okay, all right. Perhaps you can do quickly. We still have another presentation, so in the meantime, if you check online what they have in Malta, and you can answer at the end.
Of course, we'll do.
For now, I have another one. Can you please explain in more detail which adult-dependent students are excluded from applying?
Only the ones that are studying to obtain a professional qualification. And the ones that they are over the age of 28.
That's a very concrete answer. For the time being, I don't see any more open questions. You still have 4 minutes, Maria, if there is anything that you would like to add or maybe share some story from your experience, some difficulties that you have experienced recently with an investor. This is a chance to share some anecdotal stories.
Okay, actually, what as a law firm we say to our clients is that whatever an investor wants to do and invest, even if it doesn't fall explicitly under one financial criteria, there are always ways to formalize your investment so as to represent it to the ministry, even discuss with the ministries, and sometimes to make precedents on that. And it's good that each opportunity in investing in Cyprus is fulfilled. Also, recently in Cyprus, they are discussing about some changes, and it will be a bit more strict investment program, and we're expecting the changes to be announced very soon. So we don't know how, we expect some changes, but we don't know how strict it will be. And this is very challenging, to be honest, because it seems that they might introduce more financial criteria and more investment options for the foreigners to invest in Cyprus and obtain the Cyprus citizenship as well.
There is one more question from the same person asking about adult-dependent students. She is asking which professional qualifications and degree level?
Up to, they say, they don't explicitly say in the regulations, but up to master's degree, they accept it. They don't accept, as I said before, the barrister, the chartered accountants, the PhDs, they don't accept. So it depends on the personal circumstances on each applicant and on each qualification they tend to acquire.
Yes, I understand it. It always requires specific expertise. When there are particular circumstances of the case, then it is the job of the professional to review them all and provide a specific answer. It is always challenging to provide a generic answer, right? What I understand specifically from the Cypriot reality is that you've got too many lawyers and too many accountants.
Exactly, that's true.
Okay, which brings me to a difficult challenge, because it is now time to thank Maria for her brilliant presentation.